Recently, I had the urge to get back into sim racing, so I decided that I would start looking for a wheel stand to hold my Logitech steering wheel, shifter, and pedals, and I ended up finding one on a lightning deal, no less. The brand was VEVOR, and I was really excited to get it and try it out. But what I quickly learned was that sometimes you get what you pay for. The assembly on this thing was confusing due to very poor instructions, which many other people noted as well. And then what made matters worse on my unit was that one of the uprights holding the steering wheel was actually bent at the wrong angle. So I ended up having to modify the whole unit to make it work. But I was able to ultimately play Gran Turismo, and that was my goal, and I was okay with that. But thankfully for you and for me, the story doesn't end there, because right after I made that steering wheel video, I got an email from RacGTing, who thought that they could do a much better job than VEVOR and offered to send me one of their wheel stands if I'd be willing to make a video on it. And I accepted under the condition that they allow me to share my authentic opinion, whether it's good or bad, and they were totally fine with that. I very quickly realized why they were so confident as soon as I pulled the stand out of the box. To put it in perspective, the VEVOR came in a pile of pieces that were thrown in the box with some bubble wrap on it. This one, though, was pretty much already assembled. What little there was to assemble was so simple that I'll just take you through the process with me here quickly. First things first, you have to put the front feet onto the bottom and they just screw right in. Then you raise the steering wheel bar, which was thankfully not bent, unlike another company that we might have dealt with. Then I inserted the screws that secure the height level, and then I had to do what was probably the only thing that could be remotely considered challenging, and that was putting the shifter stand on the side, which you just have to take out a few bolts and then reinstall them when it's in place. And the whole process overall was just a breeze compared to the VEVOR, which took me so much more time. Once the assembly was all done, I did a little marveling, checking it out and comparing it a little bit to the VEVOR, and then it was time to remove all of the Logitech components from the old stand and then put them on the new one. And thankfully, RacGTing provided lots of extra bolts to secure everything, and all of the holes lined up nicely. There were no battles that I had to fight, and I was super thankful for that. And I would think it would be the same for other brands of wheels, pedals, and shifters if you have those. It was a breeze. To wrap things up, literally, I did some cable management using the straps they provided, and once that was done, the thing was all finished up. But we have one big question left, and that is, how does it feel when you're racing? And that was a question that I was very excited to answer. Since we're getting used to easy setups, all you have to do with this is just put it in front of the desk or TV where you're playing at, plug the wires into your PS5 or whatever you're playing on, and you're off to the races, literally. Gran Turismo 7, I gave it a rip, and the first thing that I noticed was how much more stable this was compared to the VEVOR, which had a tendency to rock front to back. I also really liked how I was able to angle the upright bars nearly vertically. That got me closer to the pedals, and the extra height over the VEVOR allowed me to use the shifter in its intended position, and it felt great. Whereas with the VEVOR, I had to modify it because the shifter was way too low, and I kept hitting my arm and elbow off of the armrest of my chair, and it just kept getting in the way. Even the pedals felt better, like they're at a better angle than the VEVOR, and I just love everything about this so much more. Literally everything about this stand is better, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. With the regular price as of the time of recording this, sitting around $90 on Amazon versus the VEVOR being just over $60, I can't recommend this one enough. You remember back when I said sometimes you get what you pay for? The RacGTing wheel is a great example of that, and you can trust me when I say that it is definitely worth spending the extra money to get the extra quality out of this. In fact, I wish I would have bought this one instead of the VEVOR, but I am thankful that RacGTing reached out to me and helped me realize how much better a wheel stand can be. I didn't even realize. But what I'm going to do with the VEVOR, it's completely out of commission at this point. I'm going to donate it to the American Rescue Workers if they'll accept it. And maybe somebody out there will get some use out of it, but I'm done, and I am now officially a RacGTing fan. So on that, I hope this video was helpful to you if you're in the market for a wheel stand. If you have any questions about the RacGTing or even the VEVOR one, I'll try to answer them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a glorious day, and happy racing out there.